Welcome to this exercise calling remuneration of registered physicians, and this exercise is referring to the first lecture, especially the slides from page 23 and following. And the objective of this exercise is to basically understand how the budget of a registered physician is, at least generally calculated, and also to understand the relationship between the budget and also the number of patients treated. So the difference between the patients, the case, and also the patient visits. Okay, so let's start with the first exercise. We assume that we have a physician who is actually registered. This is important. And he has a particular amount of money, a budget, for especially publicly insured patients during this quarter, in this year. Okay, and we know from the lecture this formula. So the budget is calculated by multiplying the number of cases for the same quarter of the last year, multiplied by the case value and by the age factor. And here one age factor could be 1 if the physician is treating patients on an average age. However, if they are younger, then we have a lower age factor than 1, or if these are higher or older patients, then it's a higher than 1 age factor. Okay, then we know the average number of cases for the 100%, so that you get 100% per patient or per case. And the case value is defined, also given in the lecture, by the total amount of money for one group of physicians, let's say GPs, and divided by the total number of cases treated by especially those physicians, so the total number of all the cases. Okay. And the cases you might remember is that you have one patient in the same quarter and insured by the same insurance company. If you treat more than this 150%, then you have these kind of diminishing factors, depending on how many more patients you are treating, more than 170, more than 200, and so on. Okay, so here we have an example. Let's assume that 1,000 is the average, and the physician treated 1,501. So what we have to know is, first of all, what is 150%? So if the 1,000 is the average, then 150%, obviously 1,500 cases or patients. Okay, and these are valued by the normal case value, depending on what was the case in the last quarter of the last year. And everyone else have to be diminished by a particular percentage of this diminishing factor. So here we have 1,500 patients multiplied by the case value, multiplied by 1, which means 100%. And here we have one patient, this is the one patient, and then multiplied by the diminishing factor of 75%, multiplied by the case value. Okay, and then based on this example, we have to answer the following question, A, B, and C. Let's start with A. So we know that a physician has a budget of 44,064 euros to spend in the current quarter, and she treated 1,440 cases or patients in the same quarter last year, which was 180% of the average case in her physician group. Okay, and then as she treats mainly younger people, she needs the age factor of 0.9. So what we want to know is to determine the case value. So this is what we are looking for in this particular formula. And the question is, what information do we have so far? So we know our formula, and we know that we have 44,064 euros of budget. We know that she's treating younger patients, so we know that the age factor is less than 1. So here in this particular case, 0.9. The case value is what we want to know, and the number of cases is what we have to determine based on this 1,440 information, that is 180%. That means we have obviously more than 150% of the average patient number. And this means in turn that not all of them are valued at 100% of the case value. So we have to understand the case, so the diminishing factor we have to consider and taking into account. That means we have to understand what is 100%, what is 150, and so on. So in our particular case here, we know that 1,440 was 180%. This means, using the simple formula, 800 cases or patients are valued at 100%. Okay, so these are the 100% average. And we know, according to this table, that till 150%, every case will be evaluated at 100%. Meaning that we have to understand what is the 150% limit till we have this this percentage. So obviously we have simply to multiply it so that we know that 1,200 is the 150% limit. Till this, every case is evaluated at 100%. Okay, so till 1,200 patients or cases, she will receive the 100%. Okay, if we have more than 150%, but less or equal 170, what is this limit? So again, 1.7 multiplied by the average number, which is 800. This is our 100%. And that means 1,360 patients. This is the limit. These are 170%. So meaning that everything about, or every patient about 1,200 is not evaluated at 100% anymore, but with 75%. So the difference is basically 70%, sorry, minus 150%. Okay, so the difference, every one of these patients are valued at 75%. So there's a diminishing factor of 25%. We get for each case 25% less of the case value. Okay, so the next one. Wait, I try to get rid of this. Okay, doesn't work. Okay, so sorry for that. So I hope that won't disturb. Oh yeah, here. Yeah, here it is. And we want to delete that. Okay, that's it. Now it's going crazy. Okay, I hope that doesn't disturb you that much. Okay, sorry. Okay, we are basically, oh man. Actually, I should only touch the screen and everything should be fine. Don't know why it doesn't work now. Okay, but we are close. Okay, so the last question is how many cases equal 200? Because here we can get a diminishing factor of 50%, and 200 of 800 cases is obviously 1,600. meaning that the difference, and here again, the 200% minus the 170%, so 80 cases are valued only at 50% of the case value, and everything above these 1,600 cases will be even diminished further, and we get only 25% of the case value. Okay? So that means what we have to solve now, given the formula we just seen, is that we now have to solve this equation basically. So we have 1,200 and x is the case value, so we don't know it yet, plus the 160 patients that are evaluated by 75% of the case value, plus 80 cases that are evaluated at 50% of the cases. And then we have the H factor, which is 0.9 in our case. And we should get an overall budget of 44,000. And 64, I think. Okay, so obviously this is pretty easy calculation at the end. So we have 1,200. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1,200 plus 120 plus 40. And on the right-hand side, 48,960 euros. Here also euros. And that means we have to solve this equation. 1,360 x should be 48,960 euros. Okay, and that means that the case value is 36 euros per case. So she will receive 36 euros per patient or per case. Okay, so this would be the first solution of A. Here we have written in a nicely way. So if you cannot read my handwriting, just refer to this slide. Okay, then let's go to exercise 1B. And again, she has a budget, but this time of 60,000 to treat again publicly insured patients. But she wants next year or next quarter in the same year, she would like to have a 10% more budget. Okay, we have a case value that is 40 euros and the average number is 1,000. So the question is, how many cases should she treat this quarter to get 10% more in the next year in the same quarter? Okay, again, the question is, what do we know? So we know she wants to have 66,000 euros of budget next year, same quarter. We know that the average cases is 1,000. That means we can get up to 1,500 cases. This is the 150%. And according to this table, the diminishing table, we can get up to 150% will be valued at 100. Okay, so she will get her 40 euros per case up to 1,500 cases or patients. Okay, so this is what we know. And that means, so again, our formula, so she wants 66,000 euros next year, same quarter. We know that 1,500 patients or cases will be evaluated by 40 euros. This is the case. This is the case value. Okay, and multiplied by 1, which is 100%. So this is coming from here. Plus, and now we know that the remaining ones the remaining cases will be only evaluated at 75% by the case value of 40 euros. So we want to know this number of cases that gives us 66,000 of euros next year. Okay, and obviously we have here 60,000 euros for this one, for the first cases, and then everything above will be evaluated for 30 euros only. So she won't get 40 euros anymore, but she will get 30 euros for every patient above 1,500. Okay, this is X. And then we have 66,000 on the left-hand side, and obviously X is 200. 200 patients. That means, so here it's again written in a nicely way. And that means if she treats 1,500, where she gets for which she gets 40 euros, plus these 200 patients where she gets 30 euros. So in total 1,700 cases she can treat if she would like to get a budget of 66,000 euros next year in the same quarter. Okay. And then the last exercise, C. So assume that a physician wants to earn at least 80 euros per hour. And she assumes that she needs for each patient 10 minutes of treatment. And we also know that every patient has on average at least 2 appointments per quarter. So how many hours can she work at most in the current quarter, given that the case value is 30 euros and the average number of cases is 600. So the question is, how many cases can she see at most? Again, at most is the crucial part here. And the question is, what do we know again? So first of all, we know that if 600 is 100%, this is a 0, by the way. Okay, so if 600 is the 0%, the average, then we know that 900 is 150%, okay, for which she gets 30 euros. So this is the case value she will get, okay, for up to 900 patients or cases, she will be evaluated by 30 euros. She will get 30 euros for these 900 cases. And then the next diminishing factor is at 170%. Okay, so again we have, this is here. This is the limit for 170%, which is 1,020. Okay, minus the 150%. So that means 120 cases will be evaluated only by 22 euros and 50 cents. Okay, so she won't get the 30 euros anymore. So 100 patients will be evaluated by 22 euros and 50. Okay, the next one is and then I would really like to, doesn't work here. It's only working if I'm, man. Every time it's so easy to change it, but not if I'm recording it. Then it doesn't want to do anything anymore. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is twice 600. So this is the 200. Oh, let's go this way. These are the 200%. Okay, minus the 100. Oh, minus the 900, which is the 150%, minus 120, which is the 170%. Okay, so and that means 180 cases will be only evaluated by 50%. So she will get only 15 euros for 180 cases. And everything else, so every following case, so every patient she sees in addition will only be evaluated by 7.50 euros. Okay, so this is pretty harsh decreasing, right, from 30 euros per case up to 7.50 euros. Okay, so this is so she will get only 25% of the case value for each patient. And one important part is that we have to understand that one case corresponds to 2 patient visits. Okay, so one case is one patient, but we have 2 patient visits and each requires 10 minutes treatment. So we know on average that one case needs 20 minutes, or if we want to have it in hours, because she's interested in euros per hour, that would mean 1/3 of an hour to treat one case in a quarter. Okay, so we know all these limits. We know how the diminishing factors are. So we know 900 will be evaluated by 100%, 120 by only 75%, 180 by 50%, and everything else by 25%. Okay, so and we know the case values, the according case values for these patients or cases. Okay, so that means if we want to treat 900 patients, what does it mean? So we know that 900 patients will be evaluated with 30 euros. Okay, this is the case value, so this is what we know. But we want to have it per hour, which means we have to multiply it by, we have to divide it by 900, multiply it by 1/3 of an hour, which means if we treat 900 patients, that would lead to 90 euros per hour. So this is, here we get 100% of the case value. Okay, so the next one is if we treat 1,020 patients, this is basically the 170% case. So we know 900 will be treated for 30 euros. She will get 30 euros for men for 900 patients. And we know from this one, so wait, here we know 120 patients will be evaluated by 22 euros 50. So that means 120 cases multiplied by 20 to 50 euros divided by 1020, sorry, 1020. So this is the 107% limit, and again multiplied by the 1/3 per hour, which means that she gets 87 euros and 35 cents. Okay, treating 1,200 patients, this is the 200% limit, and here we have 900 again. She will get 30 euros. We know that 120 cases will be evaluated with 22 euros and 50, and these 180 cases, this is coming from here. So the 180 cases, they are treated by 15. She will get 15 euros for these 120 50 cases. And everything has to be divided by the 200% limit, which is 1,200 patients. And again, multiplied by 1/3 of an hour, which gives us 81 euros per hour. Okay, so and everything above this 200% limit, she will get only 25%. Okay, so 7.50 euros. That means we have here all the way again 900 multiplied by 30 plus 120 multiplied by 20 and 50 cent plus 180 patients will be given 15 euros for these patients plus, and this is what we don't know. Oh God. Go back. Come on. Go back. Okay, here somehow. And then 2 slides back. Yeah, it's obvious. Okay, sorry for that. Multiplied by 7.50 euro. Okay, but we don't know exactly this number. Okay, and this is the same for the denominator. So we have 1,200 for the 200% limit plus X, what we don't know. And they will also be treated 1/3 of an hour on average. So, okay, and what is this? And here we have to see the, so this is nicely written. Again, if you would like to see the correct numbers, please go to this slide. And then what we have to solve is basically the same, but let me write it down again. 900 multiplied by 30 euros plus 120 cases multiplied by only 22 euros and 50 plus 180 cases will be evaluated by 15 euros, and this is what we don't know. How many patients will be treated by 7.50 euros. And the denominator is also unknown because of X. And what we know is that she wants to have at least 80 euros per hour. This is what we know from the exercise, from the text. Okay, and then we go step by step through this exercise. So we have here 32,400. Go. Oh man, this is really frustrating if the it's not working. Really sorry for that. So sometimes, especially if I'm not in a recording mode, everything is fine. I don't know why have so many problems if I am now. Okay. So now I would like to go one slide back. Okay, so let's see. So sorry for that. Everything is fine when I don't record that and I go through the slides, but somehow with the recording it's maybe contradicting each other. I don't have a clue. So let's go through it again. 32,400 euros. So this is basically the first term here. Sorry, the entire term here. Plus, and this is what we don't know, is the X 7.50 euro. Okay. And again, divided by 1,200. Or we can write it in a different way. Maybe this is then easier already. So we have 400 hours plus X multiplied by 1/3 of the hour. And this has to exceed 80 euros per hour. Okay, then the next step. Sorry. No, it's going back. Yeah, I want to have it here. Okay, sorry. So the techniques and the digital solutions are not always how they should work. So I'm sorry for that. Okay, so that means we have 32,400 plus X times €7.50. And then on the right hand side, we have 32,000 plus 80 divided by 3x. Okay, and that means we have 400 is at least 115 divided by 6x. And as soon as you have to divide it or to multiply that, we have to multiply 400 times 6 times x, and that means actually that x should be less or equal to 20.87 cases, but we cannot have fractional values. That means we simply say that x shouldn't exceed 20 cases. Okay, so sorry for the handwriting here. You have a cleaner version of it. So that means the physician can treat 1,200. Okay, this is basically what she's done before, and then 20 cases more. And cases means we have 1,200 patients, and we know that these have to be multiplied by 20 minutes. We know that one case is 2 patient visits, and on average we have these 20 minutes. We had that at the beginning. That would lead to 24,400 minutes, which is 406 hours and 40 minutes, and that means 50 days, 6 hours and 40 minutes, where we assume that we have a work day of 8 hours. Okay, so she should treat at most 1,220 cases in order to be paid €80 per hour. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask them in our online meeting. The Teams link is in Elias, and feel free to ask your questions. Otherwise, thank you very much for your attention, and let's see us either in the exercise meeting or in the lecture. See you, and thanks.